I think we are in the slope of hope stage of this intermediate cycle for gold. Uh, and because this rally was so powerful and lasted so long, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very difficult move into an intermediate cycle low. Bulls, and this always happens during intermediate declines, especially after really long rallies. The bullish mindset gets deeply ingrained, and people, traders, see any dip as a buying opportunity, and uh, and especially for gold, which tends to be a very emotional investment for most traders. We gold bugs have been waiting for years for gold to start the next bull market, and clearly it did start it, and it also broke out above that 2011 high at 1923. So the um, instinct to buy the dip is extremely strong in the gold market right now, and so that's why we are bouncing back and forth on the RSI from overbought to oversold, and nothing is embedding in either condition. It's because gold bugs are anticipating, and they want a repeat of this. They're expecting a repeat of this, so they're viewing this as just a temporary consolidation, and they want to make sure they're on board when the next um, strong rally begins. But I think they're going to be disappointed, but just temporarily disappointed. We need an intermediate degree correction to wipe out this bullish sentiment. We need to stop the tendency to buy the dip. Um, and so, what we're getting here, and I predicted this was going to happen. I said we'd have a crash event to start the decline, and then it was going to be just a volatile back and forth churn, and that's what's happening. I believe this is day 15 of this daily cycle, so I'm pretty much convinced at this point this was a daily cycle low. It looks to me like this daily cycle has probably topped on day 4. And now we're in that difficult churning stage where the bulls try to hold the breakout at 1923. That was the bull market high back in 2011. They're trying to hold the breakout at 1923. So anytime we get close to that, the dip buyers step in and they buy. And so we're getting these multiple tests of 1923, and it's holding. And I think the same thing, well, the inverse is going to happen here that happened here at 1750. Every time gold tested 1750, the banks would hit it and move it back down. Eventually, when it did break out, and then it triggered this really strong move to the upside, I think the same thing's probably going to happen here. We're going to just have multiple tests of this 1923. One of them I think is going to fail. I don't necessarily think the first failure at 1923 is going to trigger a selling panic. I think it's probably going to take 2. So I think the buyers will step in again once we get our first break of 1923. I think they'll step in again, and that'll probably turn out to be a false break. And it'll keep that dip buying mentality intact. And most of these daily cycles now tend to last about 30 to 40, 45 days. We're only on day 15. So my expectation is that we're going to stay stuck in this difficult sideways churn. And then at the very tail end of the cycle, maybe around day 25 or maybe a little later, we'll probably break through this 1923 and sustain the breakdown, and then we'll probably get a big whoosh down into the intermediate cycle low that I'm expecting. Minimum, I think we got to retest this support zone here at 1800. Maybe we also break through that and test this consolidation zone right here. Let me annotate this. All right, so I think we've got to probably come down and test this consolidation zone at the intermediate cycle bottom. And like I said, we're only 15 days into this daily cycle, so we're going to continue to get this volatile back and forth as the dip buyers keep buying every dip in anticipation of a continuation of this. But I don't think we're going to be ready for another strong push higher until we can wash out all that bullish sentiment, and that means that at some point the dip buyers have to be punished severely, and everybody gets bearish, and then that will set up the next rally, which I think will be even much bigger than this rally here. I think the next intermediate cycle will kick off the bubble phase in earnest. So some patience, at least for another, well, if we're only on day 15, we probably got at least 15 more days before we could expect that final daily cycle low, maybe 20 to 25 days before that final bottom. So right now, I would just anticipate just a continuation of this chop back and forth as the dip buyers buy and defend that 1923 support. But ultimately, I think it's probably going to fail, and this fourth daily cycle will left translate, probably come back down into this consolidation zone, and that should clear the bullish sentiment and set the stage for the bubble phase 2 of gold to start in earnest.